What's up, guys? This is Braden Break, and I have a deck profile here for you today, and this is Blake Pennington's state champion, Alabama State's Mega Rayquaza build. He won, or he didn't win. He took second place with it. Did very well. Went all the way to the third match in the finals, and ended up losing to Night March. But we'll talk more about that later. But it's a very great deck build. Really good. And I'm just gonna go over it right now for you. Explain kind of like the basics of it. So first thing we got here is Shaymin. He ran 4 of those, and it had with the ability set up so you can draw your cards. Your main draw engine for the deck. 3 Rayquaza-EX, so you can Mega Evolve into Mega Rayquaza-EX, which is the main attacker of this deck. With the attack Emerald Break for 3 colorless energy, it does 30 damage times the number of your bench Pokemon, and you can power that up with Sky Field, but we'll cover that more later. He also ran 2 Jolteon-EX with the attack Swift and Flash Ray. Flash Ray is the main reason you include it in the deck. Flash Ray for a lightning and 2 colorless energy does 70 damage, plus during your opponent's next turn prevent all damage done to the 2 Jolteon-EX by basic Pokemon. So it locks out Night March, anything that runs just EX attackers, anything like that, basically. 1 Aegislash-EX, it basically auto wins against Vespiquen and anything that only runs special energy and can't streamline Hex. 1 Jirachi also helps with like Night March counters and anything that runs special energy to stall them out and discard their special energy cards. 2 Hoopa-EX, so you can get out your EX Pokemon. 2 Battle Compressors, so you can compress out a supporter or whatever else you need to get rid of. 1 Escape Rope, so you can pull off switches. 3 Mega Turbos. It's the only way you can bring back energies in this deck, and he made it work perfectly, really well. We'll talk about that more later too. 1 Sacred Ash, so you can bring back Pokemon that you lost. 1 Switch, so you can switch out your active Pokemon with another Pokemon and not have to pay the retreat cost. 4 Trainers Mails for consistency. 4 Ultra Balls, you know what, you know that why that's there for now. Also 4 VS Seekers. 1 AZ, so you can pick up Pokemon in your hand. It's very clutch in certain matchups for this deck. 1 Hex Maniac, so each player, so you can just cancel out abilities for the turn, and it helps you in a lot of matchups. 1 Judge to disrupt your opponent's draws and to get you more cards if you have less than 4. 1 Lysandre to bring out a Pokemon and take a knockout on it. 3 Sycamores to draw cards. 1 Skyla to search for whatever you need. 1 Xerosic to remove tool cards and special energies. 4 Sky Field. Sky Field, if you don't know what it does, it allows each player to have 8 Pokemon on his or her bench. And basically, if you do that, you get 8 Pokemon on your bench. Mega Rayquaza is now hitting for 240 damage, which is a knockout on almost everything. Maybe not Wailord but that's basically it. And then 3 Rayquaza Spirit Links, so you can Mega Evolve without having to end your turn. 4 DCEs to power up attacks, and then 4 basic lightning energies. But yeah, this is the deck that Blake Pennington ran at Alabama State, and he did very well with it, and we will now get into the interview and let you guys hear from him. Alright, you guys enjoy. Alright. Hey guys, this is Braden Break, and I have a special interview for you today. I'm going to be talking to Blake Pennington. He took second place at Alabama State's running Mega Rayquaza, and I really appreciate Blake coming out here to record this interview with me today. I appreciate him taking time out of his schedule to do this with me, so we can get this on the channel for you guys. But thank you, Blake, for being here. Appreciate it.
No problem at all, man. Thank you.
Yeah. I just reached out to Blake on Facebook, and he was very easy to cooperate with and totally down with it from the beginning, so I appreciate that. We're going to get right into the interview. We'll talk about the deck later on and stuff like that, but first I'm just going to get you to tell us a little bit about yourself.
Gotcha. Well, this is my 3rd year in Masters. I started playing really late. I started playing 3 years ago. I found all my old cards from childhood, actually, and I started playing again out of nowhere. Played a few bad decks, then quickly started trying to play meta decks. And this year was able to get my first Worlds invite.
Nice. Yeah, I was the same way. I started out with a little fairy deck that I thought was going to be great earlier this year, and I showed up and I just got completely creamed. But yeah, Basically, that's about how I got started too. Do you want to tell us what got you back into Pokemon?
Like I said, one day, me and my lady, we were looking through my office, and we just found a big white shoebox, card shoebox, just full of tons of base set through, I think it was Gym Challenge cards, and we just started building decks, and then for whatever reason, we went and bought theme decks one night, and then from there we started buying the booster tins. And, I was the best of our little household because I had the Mewtwo EX before I realized that, the X-Ball was the good attack, not the Cyburn, yeah. That's all bad, But, we've come a long way.
Yes. So, go ahead and tell us a little bit about the deck and how you decided to build it, just things you included and decided to not include.
Sure. Well, to kind of give an overview of it is that I really thought that Zoroark would see a lot less play going into cities, or going into states. I thought it would really drop off with Night March still, or now having the Fighting Fury Belt.
Yes.
So with Night March having Fighting Fury Belt, I didn't think they would try to play Gallade like they should. So I thought, Rayquaza was a really good meta call. I think a lot of the good players were scared to play trees in the southern region, so it made Rayquaza a really, really strong play.
Yeah, it did. You definitely did very well. Tell us about things you tell us a little bit more about the deck and how it works for those who are going to be watching this and aren't familiar with the deck.
Sure,
if you don't mind.
So, let's see where to start. One of the best reasons to play the deck was because it handled like an expanded deck. There was just so much, power to it, and to do 240 damage turn 1 was just really, really unbelievable for this format. If somebody's, misses a turn setting up, you can just punish them for it. And then if you hit the Hex Maniac with all the Shaymin in format, you just, deny their setup and you keep going. With the 2 Jolteon, it completely shut down Night March. I played Night March 6 times at Alabama States, only losing once in the finals.
Yeah. Didn't you also run an Aegislash too?
I did. Aegislash, so there were 3 cards that were kind of in a... I had to pick 2 of these 3 cards, and it was Seismitoad, Aegislash, and the Jirachi promo.
Yes.
And I kept going back and forth. Like right now on my account, I have the list I was testing with until the day of, and it has the Seismitoad but no Jirachi. So the day of, I took the Toad out and put the Jirachi in. Just whatever happens, happens. Aegislash I had in there in case I played against a Vespiquen Vileplume deck.
Yes.
Didn't hit a single one of those.
Yes.
However, when I played Jose playing Toad Giratina, just sitting it down and walling it, and using AZ just to pull it back up, making them have to hit the Hex so often, and then when they do, picking it up and just negating everything was just really, really clutch.
Yes. And definitely what you said about Vespiquen, I made the terrible decision of running I had a Mega Scizor deck that I ran at States. Terrible decision in hindsight. But I ran Aegislash with that too, and I had 2 Vespiquen matchups, and it was basically an auto win with that. So
exactly.
Yeah, I was looking over your list, and I really liked that inclusion. That and the Jirachi basically completely shuts down that deck if you're able to draw into them. So you already kind of talked a little bit about why you chose to run the deck. So do you just want to go ahead and tell us about your state experience and go over Swiss for us and how everything went?
Sure. I think, the first 3 rounds, I played different builds of Night March. So from there, it was just get Jolteon out and win, basically. I hate to, be so simple about it, but that's how it really was.
Yeah, if it's consistent.
Yeah. So what I would do, I would either get Aegislash or the Jirachi promo active while I set up the Jolteon, because it always takes 2 turns to set up with the way the deck's built. and just wall hopefully with Aegislash. And I play the 3 Switch cards, so the AZ, the Switch, and the Escape Rope.
Yes.
So get it out of there, and then just keep hitting the Jolteon turn after turn after turn.
Yeah. I did notice that. Also, something I noticed is you didn't run any way to retrieve energy other than Mega Turbo. Can you talk about that a little bit? Sure.
So with Jose winning Georgia State's week 1 with a Rayquaza build, and then Connor Fenton winning the next 2 weeks in both of the Carolinas respectively with Rayquaza builds, I felt that I would probably end up playing the mirror match. And the time puzzle version is really good, but it's also slow. It doesn't go off turn 1 as much as this one does. If anybody plays this deck, you'll go off turn 1 a lot. So, and that's something you don't get with the time puzzle version, because you can extend your turn so much with the Trainers Mail.
Yes. So tell us, how did Swiss go, and then after Swiss, tell us about Top Cut, all the way to the finals, if you don't mind.
Yeah. So I think round 4 or so, I played Jose with his. I played him 2 times that day. Once in Swiss, once in Top Cut, and it was really interesting matchups. Going back and watching the videos, I think I might have misplayed a little bit, not trying to be as aggressive as I could have with the Jolteon-EX, but at the same time, I would just run him out of energy. He flipped terrible on crushing hammers. So, but at the same time, I took advantage of it. Ended up decking him out, 1 game of the of our sets. So that was my closest matchup. It seemed like whoever went first won those games. Yeah. From there, I played another 2 Night March decks, and I actually won 1 on a donk. Not really a donk, but I went second and got to use Jolteon Swift, donk out of Jolteon, to take game 2 of the match, and that pretty much locked me in. I believe it was at 6-0. I think it was 7 rounds that day, and just ID'd into cut from there.
Nice.
Yep.
So you in this first 6 matches, you said you only ran into Night March?
Yeah, I ran into the one Toad Giratina.
Oh yeah, one Toad Giratina.
Yeah.
All right.
And then I believe round 7 would have been Greninja, which before the N reprint was a really solid matchup for Rayquaza. So I thought about playing it out for a moment, but at the same time I was like, I really need this guy to be in Top Cut, because if I get if we both make Top Cut together, this is a match I can win.
Yeah, you can win later on. I see. That's smart. I didn't know that was a really easy matchup for Greninja or for Rayquaza.
If you build it right,
if you build it right, I mean, I totally believe you. I just not as familiar with the deck as you are. So then go ahead and tell us about Top Cut and so on and forward, if you don't mind, finals and what. Yeah.
Yeah. So I can't remember his last name, which I think he's under 18 anyway. Mark from Birmingham Pokemon League in Hoover. He made his first top 8, and me and him got matched together, and he was playing a lot of just fighting Pokemon, which really works out for me, with the resistance, so it's never really doing enough damage to matter. And then just, pretty much one-shotting him. Now, he did play a lot of stadiums, so that really made it tricky at times. But we went 2-0 there on that matchup. I mean, I think it took around, 25, 30 minutes. So we had, 2 quick games. The second game, he almost beat me, which was really cool for him, And I was thinking, you know what? If he beats me, at least somebody from Birmingham goes on. Yeah. So we played Jose in top 4, which was really, really fun. It was just so stressful because he's a great player. He's, I believe, top 32 in the nation right now. game one, I take game one, just doing the same, crappy tactics as the first matchup. When I finally get 3 Mega Turbos going on a Jolteon, or not a Jolteon, a Rayquaza-EX, or Mega Rayquaza, there's really not much you can do if I can hit Hex. So I take prize cards, and I go into game 2, and not, stalling slow playing, but, putting the Aegislash out there, knock them out. We're going to make this game take as long as possible. Because I figured if I can make this game go as long as I need it to, we can get into game 3, and I can, quickly pick off a Shaymin or a Seismitoad, and he can't quickly take a prize card on me unless he Lysandres up a Shaymin, something like that. So I thought it was in my advantage just to go ahead and just make him knock out Aegislash. Just make him take forever the game. So that's how I did it. Did it the right way. We get into it, and I prize my AZ game 2. Yeah. So strategy doesn't really work.
It does not work.
No, it does not work when you prize the one card you really need for that job. But we do get pretty close to time, and time's called quickly. In our third game, I take 4 quick prize cards, and he just sticks a hand out. So it was really cool.
Yeah, remind me, what was the length of the matches at States? Was it 50 minutes per match for three games?
In Swiss it was.
In Swiss it was, and then does it change when it?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So yeah, you had less time then, right? Or did you have more?
No, we had an hour in.
You had an hour. Okay, so you had 10 more minutes. Yes. All right. So then after that, you went on, and that was top 2. That was top 2 then, right? Or that's top 4.
Top 4. Yeah.
Top 4. Yep. All right. So tell us about that.
That was.
Yeah. Just
going into the finals.
Yes.
Yeah. Finals, man. So the video is just absolutely hilarious of it. I make a really aggressive play. I'm like, all right, I shouldn't be doing this. I'm discarding tons of resources. I'm like, but if I get the Jolteon-EX out, we're all good. End up prizing both of them. So I have no backup plan in the finals in game 1. Somehow I get all of his. I get 3 DCE. And all 4 time puzzles in the discard pile, and it's still a game. Eventually, though, he just has a Lysandre to DCE, so it's over anyway. But, it's like, okay, this went really, really well, and it shouldn't have. I think as bad as my luck was game 1, his luck was that bad in game 2.
Game 2.
So I just easily rolled Jolteon. Game 3 set up to be very competitive. I get the Jolteon lock, and for some reason at the end of the game I completely just misplay. I forget the top cut rules or whatever, and I get too aggressive. Like, for whatever reason, I thought top cut, when they call time, that if it's tied on prizes, you go to sudden death, like one of game, which is nowhere near my best interest.
Yeah.
But we'll do it anyway. I thought that was how that worked. It doesn't.
Yeah.
Now, to be fair, in Mobile at a cities, the TO played it like that.
Yes.
So I was like, okay, I thought that was, but apparently he was wrong, and Chris Clark does things the right way. So I end up losing off of that, but still a successful day. Take my first loss of the day in finals, so I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Yeah, not bad at all. So then you ended up finishing 2nd overall, like I said earlier, and that was really great. So just briefly, or however long you want to talk about it, just tell me about your whole experience today, how it was, the atmosphere, just how the experience was for you.
Yeah. The venue was really cool. It was in a middle school, but a cafeteria. But it was still really cool. We had a lot of space. It's always great when you get all the Georgia players, the Alabama players, and the Florida players together, because most of us know each other. We're in a tight community. Squeaky and his crew came down and stayed with me that weekend, and we just had a fun time, all together.
Yeah, it was a very fun experience. All right, so what potential do you see for this deck in the future, like nationals, and what possible changes do you think with Steam Siege being standard? No, well, it's not going to be standard for nationals, but for worlds. So, what changes do you think might be possible to improve this deck, or will you not play it at all, you think, in nationals?
So right now, I was testing it really hard for nationals.
Yes.
And after 2 weeks ago, with Connor winning Kansas City regionals with a Night March deck that I think you can take like 58 of the cards, and they're standard. So and one of them you can change from I think it's like Megaphone, or from Scrapper to Megaphone. So really it's 59 cards. You're losing life, dude. So I think he really has a great build, and it includes the Gallade. So I think if they can get the Gallade out against a Jolteon-EX, it really just flips the matchup, because this deck really can't really trade prizes that well with it. So I don't think it's a great play for
nationals.
For nationals, because I think they'll, some of the better players will play Gallade in it. If they don't, you'll run over them if you play it right. But I also found that it has a really tough times with frogs now.
Yes.
That N is back in format. Because now you can just bury them, late game. I mean, they're going to take prize cards, but if you get an N, they can't really hex spam like they could beforehand. Yeah. So I think it's a solid play, but I wouldn't see it winning.
Yeah, you wouldn't see it winning at nationals. You said it was a really hard matchup against Greninja, now with N, obviously, and then with Gallade. What were you testing to counter that? What was your best viable options, I guess, to say?
For Gallade?
Yeah, for Gallade. Yeah.
Oh man, I guess you just have to get lucky with the Jirachi.
You do, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you run any hammers in this deck? I cannot remember. Let me pull up the list.
No.
You don't? Yeah. Yeah, so Jirachi is your Jirachi, and you run one Xerosic. So you do have that. Yeah. All right. So you basically just got to hit or miss with removing the energies. Basically, yeah. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about, really, or anything else you want to cover? Go ahead.
I think this deck might be actually viable for Worlds, though.
For Worlds.
Especially if that the Karen supporter cards printed in
I did see
Siege.
that.
If that happens, it'd be an instant one-up in this deck, and I think it becomes much more viable. Because I don't. It's going to be so weird at Worlds with that, 3 weeks to get ready with the new set. Yeah, it's going to be terrible.
Not a lot of time to test.
Yeah.
Hopefully it shakes it up a little bit, so we see some interesting stuff that people didn't really expect coming. Would be nice. If you don't know what Karen does, Karen basically is a supporter card that's going to come out with Steam Siege, and it shuffles all your Pokemon cards, just Pokemon, not items or anything else, from the discard pile back into your deck. So it kind of counters Night March in a way, and that's what Blake was talking about. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about, or about the deck, about state, anything?
No. I also think the new item card we talked about earlier today.
Yes, we did talk about this earlier today.
I think you would almost play that here over Time Puzzle.
Yeah. I was actually having that exact same thought, especially with your build. With this build he had at States specifically, and he talked about it earlier in this video. He does not run Time Puzzle with it, so you definitely could change it out for like a Mega Turbo, one Mega Turbo, or something like that. It could definitely. He's talking about, I believe it's called Special Charge. Was that what it was called?
Something like that.
Yeah, Special Charge, and it basically just brings back special energies into your deck, which you really couldn't do except with Time Puzzle before this. So that's going to be really big at Worlds. Yeah, that definitely will make this deck stronger too, I think, because you only ran 4 basic energies with it. Yeah. But I mean, definitely a good decision with that, though. So that was really all I had for you. Definitely, if you want to keep talking, we're good to keep going. But that's basically all I had for you. Anything else you want to add?
No. I think that's about it.
That's about it.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. I want to thank you again for doing this. I really appreciate it. Thanks for being super easy to do this with. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, this is Blake Pennington. Took second at States, and have you qualified for your nationals and world invites yet?
Yeah.
Yep.
So I got the email yesterday for my stipend money for.
Oh yeah, nice. Congrats.
Yeah, I came in 33rd.
Huh.
So you know, come in 32nd, you get 1,000. 33rd, get 750, which is
still good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on that.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm currently at 467 championship points. So
nice.
If I top 8 or so, I can maybe have a chance to get my automatic day 2 for Worlds. So that'd be nice.
Yeah, that would be nice. But yeah, thank you so much for doing this, Blake Pennington, everyone. Anything else you want to say before we go?
No, that's it, man.
All right, guys, this has been Braden Break. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video or enjoyed or had any questions or comments for me or Blake, leave in the comment, and please drop a like to support the channel. I appreciate it. You guys have a great day.